go to Savage.
Real talk, no filter on Savage Unfiltered. Savage.
Have trouble believing this, as they have some misplaced, misguided trust in our system, perhaps having grown up at a time when such trust was justified. They think, well, it went through the system, he had a fair trial, this was just the decision, and we have to accept it. We're saving democracy after all, and Trump's a criminal. And I just want to remind you that the Soviet Union also had show trials. Nazi Germany also had show trials. What happened to Alexei Navalny was entirely within the bounds of Russian law. So what does it matter? What does it matter? Is this a real decision actually motivated by a sincere desire by law enforcement in New York to get a grip on fraud that was taking place? Or was this utterly and completely fabricated out of whole cloth? And
wait, I have to ask that again. We'll go back to that video here momentarily here, but I have to ask the question here to the gentleman here on InfoWars. Please, Shaky, if you may, with the with the graphics here, because this is craziness. Please put it back up.
Political position and popularity.
What?
The answer is obvious if you just look at the details of the case. And that's true for every one of the cases that we cover on this show. Going all the way back to
on the case. It was a complete shit show. Literally a shit show by the radical left. And then, of course, you're seeing some footage here with January 6th. Oh, yeah, you're going to love this, guys.
So when you hear that Stuart Rhodes was thrown into prison for conspiracy to commit insurrection, you actually have trust in the system, you might think that an insurrection happened. I think that Stuart Rhodes conspired with the people who attempted to pull it off. You might think that this was proven in court and that a completely unbiased jury and judge came to this conclusion on the basis of facts alone. And so when you come away with it, you think, okay, Stuart Rhodes tried to do an insurrection, he conspired with people to carry it out, and now he's facing the punishment for that, and everything's good and fine and normal, and you can proceed about your day. If you actually look into the details of the case and you read things like unspoken conspiracy, you see that the military maneuvers that are briefly mentioned in articles turn out to be a group of like 4 dudes walking through each with their hand on the other's shoulder so they can make sure they stay together as a group. You realize, no, none of this is valid. None of this makes any sense. None of this is legitimate application of law by the widest margin. I mean, not even close. So,
turn this off. Okay, I've heard a little bit of it. Yeah, I'll agree with them to an extent. But folks, literally, if you want my personal opinion about everything from January 6th to the crap up in New York, right, with Letitia James, Lydia, whatever her fucking name is. The bimbo out there in Atlanta, the Attorney General, right? Folks, these people want to literally bankrupt the hell out of Donald Trump. Bankrupt him. Plain and simple. I mean, if you can't see that, to the people that are tuning in on this show here, okay, not see that, go back under the rock you came under and literally resurface the entire scenario of the environment that happened for the last 40 years, possibly longer now. It's a political shit show. That's what they're doing. They're trying to bankrupt this guy. They know how much money he's got in the campaign, and that's what they're doing. Guys, before we go any further, guys, I do want to basically put one of our advertisements there, one of our ads here for the show. Guys, HelloFresh. If you're looking for the freshest ingredients, right, you're getting tired of going out to restaurants, you're getting tired of eating that watered-down seafood, right, from Cisco, it's garbage, guys. Your worries are all over. Scan this QR code today, guys. HelloFresh is known for America's #1 meal kit, and they deliver the freshest ingredients to your doorstep or your money back. They stand by their qualityness. Literally, guys, I tried it out myself here. So I want to say thank you very much, HelloFresh, for delivering the freshest ingredients. And Sos, welcome to the show, by the way. How you doing, buddy?
Holy cow. I'm just absolutely distraught. I don't know if you can tell that in my in my voice or my face, but you truly have to wonder, everything that's been going on, how are we not different than Russia now? I mean, that's a good question to ask, because as an immigrant, this is absolutely heartbreaking. I never expected, when I came to America, Michael, I never expected to have people going after other people just because they think differently, just because they are siding with different political viewpoints. I never thought of that. And now the fact that we are here, it makes you think, and it makes you really reflect and saying, was it a mistake coming to America? Or I wish I would have known this was going to be here, because then I would have saved the time and the hassle. And the fact that people, have been blowing up my phone, since our episode that you were on, telling me that I'm not a true American by any means. And I also want to tell you, yesterday at church, we had an individual come up to me. He actually stood up in the middle of church and said that we have a communist here, and he pointed right at me in front of everybody. The church had to shut their cameras off, and there were about 345 people there, and he made a spectacle out of me and told me go back to my country, and saying that.
Wow.
And it was absolutely heartbreaking, the fact that and say, hey, you're a communist, you don't belong here, and I was like, so this whole thing is getting to the next level. So now we're at church and we're having people we're having other people doxing people just because they're from like Russia. What the actual hell is wrong with the American people?
Again, Sos, it's becoming a circus, man. Some of these people in power, I literally want to question the motives behind their messages.
Yeah.
Really, at this point, folks, I mean, you want to question it. You have to question it. Like, we're getting to a point right now where it's not giving messages, Sos, to the American people. It's now becoming political attacks and Stalin type of style, right? I mean, stuff you would normally see from like back in the day, with other countries. Literally, full force on attacking Americans. It's getting to a point where it's disgusting, guys. We have a quick clip. What Sos is referring to. I was on a show about a couple days ago, depending on how you listen to the episode, this past weekend. With this key issue that Sos is referring to. Check this clip out.
Oh no, this thing circulating, Adam Kinzinger, and how you just mentioned, somebody called you a communist or something.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what happened is, I did a couple of things. So this is relating to a comment that he made, and so it was about 3 days ago. And I stated that so let me give you the background.
So, I mean, you've seen the clip, right? I mean, you've seen the clip. Some of it was humorous, right? We had a little humorous in there, you know, with the whole Adam Kinzinger and everything else. But we did get into some of the rhetoric that Sos is facing, you know, from some of the comments that came in on X and, you know, other platforms and stuff, you know, calling poor Sos a communist. You know, he's an extremist. He's this, he's that. Sos, this is utterly disgusting of what's going on in this country. Literally.
Yeah. Well, and look at this though. Okay. Honestly, and as many of you know, though, I want to also give this a huge. I want to make sure that I'm bringing this up too loud, or up to the point. So I posted this on Twitter of boycotting going to New York City. Now, because many of you guys, if you're in the college world like me, many of your spring breaks are starting tomorrow or starting coming soon in the beginning of March. Some have spring break next week, which I don't know why that is. But I'm pushing that if you have trips to go to New York City to either sightsee or to do anything, I don't know if Michael wants to pull up my picture that I made, but I am pushing and I'm stating to boycott traveling to New York City, which is a cesspool, because they would rather silence your freedom and they would rather go after you over anything. And that's why if we can boycott New York City, like the truckers are starting today, boycotting delivering goods, that's small impact that businesses are going to be hurt, because you mess with the American people, now you better face the consequences of it. I'm all for truckers not going to New York City.
You know, Sos, speaking of New York City, did you see the crap that was just they just had I think it was this morning, Shaky, or maybe the other day, of them literally protesting in front of the Trump building on the Lower East Side. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you see that? Guys, check this video out here.
Everything must go! Make an offer! Make an offer! Everything must go! Cigarette money from prison! Cigarette money from prison! Help the guy out! Clock for sale, guys. Somebody wants a clock for sale. Clock? Trump is always for sale! Trump is always make us an offer! We can't refuse!
Crazy, Sos, isn't
people
it?
Or what?
They're boycotting right in front of the Trump building,
are
Trump Tower.
People?
Because apparently, they think that they're going to sell the building off or something like that because of New York City now stating that Donald Trump had literally lied about his business practices, right? And everything else. And then they suspended him for 3 years. 3 years in New York City. Cannot do any business dealings in New York City. What's your thoughts on that, Sos?
So I also wanted along with President Trump getting suspended, I also want to say that Eric Trump and Don Jr. are barred from doing any other business too, and they were also fined $4 million each. Those two are also fined. Okay, my whole thing is, I made a reaction to it. What on earth is going on? Like, first of all, he paid back all the banks and then some. He paid back the interest. He gave thousands of jobs to New York City. Not only that, but the question I have to look at is, who are the real victims? Because in a court case, there has to be a victim and there has to be the innocent party. I couldn't find the victim. Well, actually, I did find the victim. It's the illegal immigrants that they're making President Trump cover the tab, and that might be who the real victims are, and that they actually ran out of room, so they got to take his building.
Yeah,
and
I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah.
It's utterly it's disgusting, literally disgusting of what's going on. I mean, if it's not, Nikki Haley attacking Donald Trump, now we have the radical left. I mean, don't get me started with Nikki Haley, guys. She's just no different than a damn Democrat. I mean, literally a Democrat in wolf's clothing, right? Or wolf's skin. I mean, she's clearly a Democrat. A lot of the stuff going on. But speaking of Nikki Haley, I see a funny meme, guys. We'll plug it in here in a minute here with this, guys. You're gonna like this here with Nikki Haley now going back of saying that she did not say that. She might have misplaced her words and this and that. Check this video out. It's funny as hell, guys.
The fact that Donald Trump says I want to cut Social Security or raise the age. I've never said that.
There's the red challenge hat. Trump's challenging Haley's statement.
Haley's claim she didn't call for raising the age of Social Security is under review.
Tony, here's exactly what the official is looking at.
Social Security, Medicare, how would you manage the entitlements?
We say the rules have changed. What we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that. 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that.
Let's take a look at another angle.
We change retirement age to reflect life expectancy.
I think the call is pretty clear, but let's go down to the field and see what official Gene Tooney has to say.
After review, Nikki Haley clearly said she plans to change the rules and raise the age of Social Security. This results in cutting benefits for 82% of Americans.
Bob, that was a rookie mistake by Haley.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
We get all the sandwich stuff for the kids' lunch. They don't like turkey anymore.
Yeah, I know.
What about the bananas?
Yeah, I got them too. But, honey.
What?
You're gonna have to put those eggs back.
They don't like eggs anymore?
No, they like eggs, but we have to set that $7 aside for killing Palestinians.
What? I mean, don't we give Israel $4 billion a year anyways?
Yeah, and now we're giving them another $14 billion. Do you know how much that is per American taxpayer?
No.
It's like $85 per person. Apparently it's costing us a lot of money to drop bombs on Gaza.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't they get universal health care too?
Yeah, they do. We're paying for that too, probably. Might as well put the bananas back.
Why the do we have to pay for all of this?
Don't cuss at me.
I'm Cenk Uygur, and I approve this message. Let's save lives together at cenkforamerica.com.
Do this secret, and you look at the guy, he could rip you apart. Come on up. I like this guy. Come on, come here. Come here. Come here.
I love you,
Say
brother.
something. Say something. Hey, wait, take that thing off. Come here. Take that thing off. Look at this guy.
Thank you, President Trump. We got your back. The auto workers are going to support this guy like we did in 16, 20. We're going to do it again in 24. Everybody's going to get out and vote. We're going to vote. 85 million of us are going to vote for this guy. They can't cheat enough to beat him. I love you, brother.
Okay, we'll take care of you.
Keep fighting the fight.
That's good. Well, that worked out well. Look, I met him backstage. I liked him. I said, look at these muscles. This guy's got muscles all over the place. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm an auto worker. I said, that's too bad because you're not going to have a job in 2 years. And he agrees with me, but I want to thank him, and you did a great job. I think he was more effective than I could ever be, actually. Thank you very much. We don't want to see it happen. We want to bring manufacturing back. You know, you've lost already 50.
I mean, seriously, folks, if the first video we showed you is not hilarious, and then you have, President Trump at a recent rally, which I thought was very cool, to bring on that supporter and everything, and they're attacking him, Sos. I mean, what's your thoughts on this, man? What should we do? I mean, are we voicing out enough? Are we not voicing out enough? I know you had said some concerns on your show with with the GOP facing some issues. Like, what's your thoughts on that, man? Like, what's your thoughts on any of this that we're referring to?
So I want to tell you, okay, don't even call Nikki Haley the name anymore. I call her Mrs. Pillsbury Doughboy. The only reason I call her Mrs. Pillsbury Doughboy is because she's married to Pillsbury Doughboy, a.k.a. Chris Christie. because that is the same exact mentality that Chris Christie has. If you can't talk about policies, you attack the candidate. Nikki Haley doesn't have any coherent policies besides, well, I don't like Trump and that's it. And the fact that she is not going to endorse him, which of course is no surprise, it doesn't surprise me that she's not going to endorse him. She is wasting her time, and she has taken the playbook, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Christie is back in her campaign and supporting her campaign and the DNC. Now, the flip side, though, is the reason why the auto...
Chris Christie? You think Chris Christie?
Is supporting her campaign? 100% I do, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Because he doesn't. He hates...
Yeah, I could see where you're going with that, you know. And, you know, before we continue, guys, I do have to, you know, pretty much explain why I'm wearing a black American flag, guys. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, and then I'll let Sos continue, before we dip out. But guys, if you do pay attention, let me move this boom arm over. If you guys do pay attention here, the black, it's a mirror image, so you can see. The black American flag basically represents that I will defend my country, my liberty, and my freedoms with vicious force if necessary. So that's what that means. It doesn't mean the black national anthem and all that garbage. So a lot of people were questioning some pictures and everything throughout this past weekend on a couple of platforms, social media platforms. Sorry, Sos, I had to throw that in there, buddy.
No, you're good. So as I was going back, I think that Chris Christie, and those honestly should get married. Mrs. Pillsbury Doughboy and Mr. Pillsbury Doughboy. And I made on my TikToks, you know, because that's all they're good at. I've never heard of one coherent policy that she wants to do besides raise the Social Security rate, okay, the number to 70, okay, and then but then she wants to keep the war machine going, so she wants us to be in Ukraine. That sounds like every other Democrat policy issue. Now, how are you going to help the younger generation? How are you going to help limit our debt? How are you going to help limit how are you going to close our southern border? That's what I want to know. You know, if you talk about how you're going to close the southern border, and by the way, I want to make this a clear warning to you as well, and for anyone that's listening. Watch how the Democrats are going to flip the script on the southern border issue. They're going to flip the script because they're going to say, well, we were here to close the southern border. We supported the closing of the southern border. Well, allowing 7,000 to 8,000 illegal aliens in a day, that's not closing the southern border. That's like leaving the floodgates open and telling you to focus on another issue. And
it's just making it a lot worse, Sos. But the Democrats, they can't get that through their head.
No, but they're gonna accuse the Republicans of not closing the border. They're gonna accuse it, and of course they are. And
towards the end of it, they will.
Oh yeah,
towards the end of it, when it starts getting a lot worse. But you know, speaking of that, which I want to touch on real quick, I think this next pandemic that's coming in. With the illegals is going to be used for voting purposes for November. Absolutely. I could see them manipulating some type of fraud underneath that belt.
100%.
But
and anyone knows the fact that like when you allow this much of immigration coming through, when you allow this big of a floodgate to open, what do you think is going to happen? Do you honestly think that people are going to be fair and have fair elections? No. And another question is, we looked at our Social Security and we looked at the economy today. The economy is not healthy by any means. I don't think our country can support any more of the collapsing of this nation. And another thing is on Wednesday, Congress is going to vote on whether to throw money at Ukraine. And this is also going to come on March 1st as well. I'm going to be the first one to say it. I do support shutting down our government. I support 100% of it. That's the only way you can get to the message to Joe Biden is if you shut down the government, because that way you put the border first. And I give kudos to Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson is...
I support shutting the government down, semi-shut it down. Because when you fully shut down the entire government, that means that you're cutting the funding to our military, and the military deserve the funding, right? So you can't shut down the entire government, because if you shut it down, then the military, the first responders, all that, they don't get paid, right? So,
well, I mean, but how are you going to wake up the people? How are you going to wake up the other side if you don't shut it down?
Yeah,
and for me,
just shut down the executive branches of government, like the Congress and Senate and stuff like that. Yeah, that shut down, but don't shut our government, our full government down, because again, folks, if you shut it down, you're cutting the funding to the military, and the military don't deserve that. Speaking on your behalf, Sos, you're a veteran, man, so that would literally, I mean, it would cut some of your funding as well too, right?
It would.
Well, you don't want that. I mean, people need to live, So I get what you're saying.
It's a hard thing to swallow, actually.
It is a hard thing to swallow. Sos, I want to get into this. You're speaking of bankrupting, and I mean, we are, right? Get this here, guys, as we close it out here. This new executive order 9066, okay? And guess where this is going to be going to, guys? It's a brand new executive 9066. Look it up, which is going to be rewarding all those illegals with $5,000 gift cards. Yeah, $5,000 gift cards, Sos. That's absurd.
A month or just?
I'm reading some of the bill here. It's basically, it's just all in one lump sum. So they're going to receive $5,000 gift cards, like similar to like a stimulus check that we received, the last couple of years ago. They're going to get all these little prepaid gift cards.
So wait, let me do the math. Okay. So if there's supposedly 18 million people, okay. If there's 18 million people, we are going to be spending about, actually I have my calculator, so 5,000, okay, times 18 million.
It's a lot of money, Sos.
So, okay. Dang it. Okay, so 18 million. So you're telling me that they're going to spend over $90 billion? $90 billion on.
Yeah. That's the new executive order 9066. Look it up. The gift cards are one of the benefits that's going to be sent out to all the illegals. That's the next pandemic, folks. I mean, I'm not making conspiracy theory, but that's how they're basically rewarding these illegals coming in. Oh yeah, come on in. We're going to give you this. And then when they get it, they're going to expect more. Maybe they'll expect some free food stamps to go along with it, nice hotel stays along with it. Not only are they bankrupting Donald Trump's campaign, Sos, but they're literally bankrupting this country, bankrupting it to the high heavens. I mean, is that their motives? Is that their message?
Yeah.
Do they literally want to try to exile regular Americans out of this country and just say, you know what, we're going to do this whether you like it or not, and the next flow of immigrants that come into this country, the next generation of immigrants, will be illegals. That will be the next America 2.0. Sos just said on his show a couple days ago, is America Russia 2.0? Yeah, I agree with that. But look at this pitch now. America 2.0 is going to be the next generation of illegals coming into this country. That's where you're going to see a lot more shit in San Francisco with insulin needles and encampments. New York City seeing that right now. Los Angeles seeing it. I'm seeing parts of downtown Dallas seeing it. Parts of Orlando here where I reside. That's what you're going to see, Sos, in the next 10, 15 years from now. Literally, it's going to be beyond third world. America's not going to look like America in the next 10, 20 years from now, possibly more.
No, and it's truly heartbreaking.
It's disgusting.
It's appalling. Well, and the other thing that you have to wonder is, at what point is the other side? At what point are the Americans going to say, you know what, enough is enough? What more evidence do you need? Like, honestly, you're seeing that day in light where you're seeing an innocent man being accused of a crime that he never did. You're seeing people, being like raided for crimes that they never did, except protect this country. But then the flip side, though, is the court documentation, the classified information, for example. Okay, you're going to hold President Donald Trump accountable for classified information that he actually was authorized. Okay, because since he was president at that time, that's a key word, the president at that time. And you're not going to hold Joe Biden accountable, who started taking classified information since the 1960s. So you see the double standard here. It's like one party believes in complete dumbness, and it's like and complete destruction of this nation, while the other side believes in fair and transparency.
They'll do everything in their power, Sos. Everything in their power to get this guy out of the campaign.
Oh,
race.
It's not only him.
They want it. They'd rather have Dementia Joe or, cackling Kamala Harris or some idiot from the Democratic Party run this country down to the shithole that it currently is. That's what they'd rather have. They'd rather have that than a man that can steer us to victory, steer us to success. That's what they would rather. They don't want success for this country. We clearly see it, folks. They do not want success whatsoever in this country. You have people that are running this country that hate this country.
Obama
literally
and
hate it with passion. Yeah.
Yeah, Obama and Hillary are the real people that are running this country, and that's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. Guys, we're going to close it up. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. Remember, every episode we do about, I don't want to say the exact amount of snippets, because sometimes we put, live stream snippets in a little longer. Sometimes we cut it short, depending on the content. Guys, if you are wanting to learn more about this show, please, guys, hit this QR code in the upper left-hand corner of your screen if you're viewing us on Rumble or X or the Spotify app, guys. Yes, we are on the Spotify app. Hit this QR code, and for my listeners that are on Spotify, I have to make this very, very easy for you so you can understand. The video podcasting will not work on Spotify.com. You have to download the Spotify app, and then you'll get the feature where it'll say view in video or view in audio. You have two features now. Spotify made video podcasting possible now. So if you have the Spotify app, why are you not listening or watching full-blown episodes here on video? Why not? It's there. Just throwing that out there. So you have an option now, guys. Scan the QR code, and it'll go right to our main platform. But we're gonna close it out here. Myself here, Savaged, and Soslin Timison from his show Echoes with Sos, the co-host here on the show. Sos, I always throw this in every now and then if we ever get some new listeners. For some of my new listeners that are joining us, where can they find you, buddy? I know we threw some QR codes up for you, but yeah.
So they can find me on X as Real Soslin Timison. They can find me on any podcast platform called Echoes with Sos. And I'm not really honed in on Facebook or TikTok anymore, or not in TikTok, but I'm not very honed in on Facebook or Instagram anymore. So that's become more of a private. But you can find me on TikTok at Sauceman1776, in which I post a wonderful content feed, and I do the same thing for X. And so just tune in those two different platforms, and then you'll find and keep updated to what I presumably do, and whether if I go in a tanning bed. And not only do I give well, not only do I keep updated, but I rather see how you guys are doing. And so I give updates on my life, I'm on this weight loss journey, so you get to stay in touch with that. I don't always talk about politics either. I talk about other things, about mental health and about importance of working out. So with this in mind, guys, remember to keep us awesome.
Take it easy, guys. Be savage, not average. Later.